Hello everyone, welcome back to Gizmochina. I'm Kieran. Last year, Poco released the Poco X3, which offered great value for money to its buyers. And recently at their spring event, Poco updated the X3 with a new Pro version. As the name implies, the X3 Pro is Poco's X3's beefier brother.
The X3 Pro in our hand is a model that we got from the online retailer Goboo. Goboo usually features a fast global premiere of the latest models in direct partnership with brands like Xiaomi and Poco.
And the Poco X3 Pro model was no exception. Their shipping policy promises dispatch within 24 hours and can deliver in some countries such as Spain within 2 days. They even offer a guaranteed no-hassle 14-day return policy and a 2-year warranty. Especially for the Poco X3, Goboo offers an exclusive price for early bird pre-sale buyers that includes a free screen repair within the first 6 months of purchase. For the X3 Pro launch, Goboo is keeping a world premiere event in partnership with Poco, so make sure to check the link down below this video and you will get a chance to win a brand new Poco X3 Pro, as well as learn more information about the Poco products in the market. You also get a chance to win their big prizes like the Poco series models, Mi Smart Projector, Mi Watch Lite, and so on. In a teaser released recently, Poco talked about how it shook up the budget market with a respectable performance to price ratio and suggested that the new phone would be available at the same price as the F1, representing the original spirit of the Poco F series. Now we know the phone that they were talking about was the X3 Pro. The Poco X3 Pro starts with the 6 Plus 128GB version, but there's also another version with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. The phone comes in 3 colors, metal bronze, frost blue, and black. The Poco X3 in our hands is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 860, which is a higher binned version of the Snapdragon 855 Plus. Compared to the Poco X3 running the Snapdragon 732G, the 860 chipset is definitely a surprising upgrade, but please note that the 860 chipset is a 4G chipset, so it doesn't support the latest 5G network connection. The phone features a quad rear camera setup headlined by a 48MP main sensor, accompanied by an 8MP ultra-wide sensor, a 2MP macro, and a 2MP depth shooters. For battery, the X3 Pro has inherited the non-Pro version's large battery design and features one with a 5156mAh battery capacity and 33W fast charging, which, even when compared to the Redmi K40 series, still brings a comfortable battery life. And the 120Hz 1080p LCD display also comes back on the Pro model. The design of the X3 doesn't change much, but it looks almost the same as the standard X3. So we have the camera module arranged at the upper middle position on the back, and the big Poco logo on the back still stands out. Turn it around and there is still the same 6.67-inch hole punch display. As a budget model, the X3 Pro's narrow chin design is still impressive. In addition, the X3 Pro also carries forward some useful features related to daily usage, including NFC Z-axis linear motor for better vibration experience, stereo dual speakers, and the rare 3.5mm headphone jack. Thanks to the debut of the Snapdragon 860 chipset, the Pro's performance has gotten much better than the standard model. The standard X3's performance didn't really cheer up the fans last year, so we were looking forward to seeing the performance on the X3 Pro. Since the X3 Pro is in our hands is still a non-commercial sample, we were unable to run most benchmarks on it. But as a reference, the models running the Snapdragon 855 Plus are able to score 370,000 points on Antutu benchmark, which we estimate the Poco X3 Pro will easily achieve a score of over 400,000 points. And if there are any software updates to open this limit, we will be sure to let you know. While we could still test its gaming performance, well, the results didn't disappoint us. In PUBG Mobile, due to the in-game frame rate limit, we were only allowed to run under 60 FPS, with the highest HDR graphics settings, so it was pretty easy for the Pro to achieve an excellent and stable gaming performance without any thermal issues. The phone didn't heat up, and after 30 minutes of gaming, its highest temperature reached was only 45 degrees Celsius, which is much better than those flagships running the Snapdragon 888 chipset. In NBA 2K20, we again could not access a maximum frame rate of up to 120 FPS. However, the X3 Pro easily achieved an average frame rate of 59.65 FPS without any performance downthrottling or heating issues. The quad camera combination contains a 48MP AI main camera, an 8MP wide-angle camera, and a 2MP portrait camera, and another 2MP macro camera. Now let's see some photo samples shot on the X3 Pro. The main camera samples are pretty good colors and decent contrast. When you turn on the AI colors in HDR mode, the vivid colors look more delightful. but sometimes it can come out a bit oversaturated. Under most conditions, we prefer the samples without AI adjustments, as the images had natural colors and were closer to the true tone of the scene. The exposure of the main camera is pretty accurate, except when facing high contrast situations. The main camera also did a relatively good job of removing the fringing effect. On the other hand, the wide-angle camera samples didn't show a good dynamic range or high contrast when compared to the main camera's output, but it was good at producing pleasant colors. Under most conditions, the anti-distortion of the wide-angle camera is pretty good, but sometimes it wasn't perfect, especially when you look carefully at the corners of the image. The 2-megapixel macro camera can focus on subjects close up to 4 centimeters. The colors in the macro samples were a bit dull, and the resolution of the sensor also makes it not so practical. Meanwhile, you have to be careful with lighting conditions, since the macro cam performs much better in brighter scenes. As for the night mode, the improvement in brightness is really remarkable. Make sure that you turn on the night mode without fail under insufficient lighting conditions, and it would definitely boost your shooting experience, no matter for the main camera or the wide-angle sensor. And we can also see how it stabilizes your image and balances the exposure between brightness and darkness. In the charging test, a full charge took 1 hour and 12 minutes, which is close to what we got on the X3. To give you a basic idea of how the larger battery extends your battery life, we played PUBG Mobile, shot photos and videos, watched online videos, and performed each activity for 30 minutes. Then we recorded the power consumption for each activity. Just check out the results here. So this was our quick review of the Poco X3 Pro. We hope you got enough information before you go ahead and make the purchase decision. This time, the improvement of the X3 Pro is more remarkable than what we had on the X3, and the phone almost brought us back to Poco's golden days to some extent, but not just because of its price, but also the inclusion of a high-performance chip inside an affordable phone. However, we're still a bit upset about its design. Honestly, we would have preferred all these upgrades on a newly designed model instead of just recycling an existing one. By the way, if you are interested in the Poco X3 Pro, don't forget to click the link below and join the event held by Goboo and Poco. If you were picked as one of the lucky winners of the newly launched X3 Pro, do let us know. As always, if you like our videos, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'll soon bring a review of another interesting Poco phone. It will come out very soon, so stay tuned to us. Thanks for watching. This is Kieran from Gizmochina, and we'll see you soon.